Om Bhurбhuvah Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yonah Prachodayantam. So salam everyone, let's continue our satsangs on our beloved Swami Sri Sathya Sai, and today I continued answering your questions from different viewers, and especially about process of materialization. Of course, our Swami Sri Sathya Sai was famous because of many reasons, and a great reason is his transformational power, his huge divine grace. Actually, his main masterpiece was exactly transformation, spiritual transformation of the people. Mostly his devotees, but sometimes, we know so many situations, stories, cases when his transforming power could, change life of those people who actually never claimed to be his devotees. That's the main miracle. But also, we have so many cases, so many real stories about materializations of different very special items, objects of power, if you wish. And normally it was like rosaries, rings, coins with the different gods, Hindu gods, etc. Sometimes this materialization happened actually in his so-called interview room, and sometimes just outside of the interview room, just in front of huge number of people. And because in 90s I was Sathya Sai translator, so for me it was possible to witness how this actually happened in both cases. I mean, in front of huge number of devotees and visitors in a so-called Sai Kulvant hall. So this is the big hall where all the programs actually took place. And now we have Samadhi Mandiram tomb, Sathya Sai tomb, exactly there in this Sai Kulvant hall. But also sometimes this materialization, this miracle happen in his room during so-called interviews. So it means personal meetings with groups of devotees from different parts of the world. And I think that at least for me, important was not only the item itself materialized by Sathya Sai, but also the process of materialization. That's also, I think, very important, because when I was just translating for the people, for the Russian-speaking groups in his room during these personal meetings, so I can witness, I don't know, maybe hundreds and hundreds of times when I saw actually how he materialized different items or objects. But honestly speaking, for me it was not so important the object itself, what kind of item it will be, it will appear next moment in his hands like this. But for me it was important quality of divine vibration which was possible to experience if you are in tune enough with him at that very moment. And I remember that especially in his interview room, this process of materialization sometimes were accompanied by bright flashes of light, and sometimes even with very, very special and unusual sounds similar to that of electricity. Sound vibrations as the sound was sometimes included into this visible process. And okay, sometimes it was also flashes of light. And can you imagine, it's amazing actually, because when he materialized so many different things just in front of huge number of people, normally it was without this special divine power revelations. So that's the reason why when you just actually, like physically, when I was physically actually next to his chair in this small interview room during this personal meetings, so it was a chance to see and experience this very special phenomena. Just let's contemplate, let's just think about it. Light, and then from that light, flashes of light, okay, this certain ring come into being, into existence. What kind of, items or objects of power they are, actually, can you imagine? And what does it mean, light? When we study different scriptures, including Vedic Hindu scriptures, Christian Bible, or Buddhist scriptures, we often can read in all that ancient sources about absolute divine consciousness as light. Okay, for some of us who involved in meditation practice, okay, we can see this divine light with the help of our third eye. Okay, we can see it as something on the subtle level. But can you imagine that this divine light was visible pretty physically at that moment of creation of these certain objects, certain items? And I think it's being and a huge philosophical meaning in that. Of course, when Sathya Sai materialized different things to the different people, we can think and speculate about personal meaning. Okay, why, for example, this kind of rosary, like crystal one for this guy, and why for wooden or rudraksha rosary for somebody else? We can speculate about it. Okay, what does it mean if it was like ring with diamond, or maybe ring with whatever other kinds of precious stones? We can think about personal meaning, yeah. But now I'm just thinking not about personal meaning, but something in general. We say that this is materialization. Okay, but I think that actually it's wrong to call it materialization, because it's something greater than just materialization, because it's actually creation. Just think the same way like God. Okay, when we read Christian Bible, when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, we have biblical and Vedic mythology, symbolical stories about creation of this world. But at that time it was also a kind of example how God created something. Okay, in the Bible or Srimad Bhagavatam, we read about creation of this cosmos. Yeah, that's a great stuff. But even if divine incarnation, God, Lord Himself, Sathya Sai, just materialized, let's say, certain ring, okay? But actually, that was example of the same process of creation. So it means, unfortunately, some people critically, approach the situation itself, and sometimes they say, okay, why Sathya Sai performed miracles at all? Maybe it was not necessary. That's somebody's opinion. But actually, when we think about deep meaning, we see this deep meaning, because even the process of this materialization was a kind of great spiritual message, if you're able to grasp, to catch this message. So it's not just miracle, because so many saints, so many yogis, they also can perform quite a lot of miracles, but that was revelation, that was message. Of course, if we're able to see this message. Sairam, see you next time.
Om Bhurбhuvassuvaḥ Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayantam